Welcome to Business Middle East. This week we are taking a closer look at the International Monetary Fund latest predictions. The IMF is pessimistic and has lowered its forecast for global economic growth for this year and next, especially for biggest eurozone economies. It didn't cut the forecast for most of the nations around the Gulf. However, it did raise the concern over falling oil prices. Normally, political crises in regions like the Middle East and North Africa would push up the cost of crude, but right now the opposite is happening, as weak growth means reduced demand and there is more oil available than needed.
The recovery from the Great Recession remains weak, with many so-called downside risks, warns the International Monetary Fund in its latest World Economic Outlook report. The IMF has cut its forecast for global growth to 3.3% this year and 3.8% next year.
Both, right? But it's clear that the recovery is weak and it's uneven. I mean, if you look, in advanced economies, you have the US, which is doing well, and then you have the eurozone and Japan, which are not doing so well.
The three biggest eurozone economies, Germany, France and Italy, were downgraded as the IMF's experts stressed it's essential that richer countries maintain low interest rates to stimulate borrowing and drive growth. It's a mixed picture in the Middle East. The forecasts for Qatar, Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates were increased, but Kuwait's was lowered. Among the non-Gulf Cooperation Council countries, oil exporters Iran and Iraq are seen to have lower growth prospects because of sanctions against Tehran and fighting in Iraq. Overall, the Gulf region's economy remains stable, but analysts say there are negative influences from the slowing global economy.
For more insight on this, we are joined from Abu Dhabi by Al-Hammoury, Chief Market Strategist at ADE Securities. Hello, Noor. The IMF has cut its growth forecasts for three biggest eurozone economies. How deep are the bloc's problems and what can they do to counter weak recovery?
Well, Daleen, as you may know, it's been almost 7 years since the financial crisis up till today. The ECB has done many stimulus packages, such as the QE, LTRO and targeted LTRO, and now, finally, the ABS buying program. However, the growth rates are far away from the Eurozone targets and never achieved any growth target in the past 7 years. The main problem here is basically in Europe is that they are doing two different approaches at the same time, which is basically the austerity and the borrowing to support the growth. The only solution that we believe in is that the Eurozone needs to concentrate on one approach only, whether to do austerity, which will lead the economy to fall back into a recession, but on the longer term it's going to be positive, or to continue with borrowing to support the growth. This is also positive. It's going to be only on the short term, but it's going to be very dangerous on the longer term, as the debt level are already at record highs.
Noor, oil prices seem set to drop further because of oversupply. What can producer countries in the Middle East do to stabilize the prices?
It's the same. In the meantime, we haven't reached the panic period yet. Saudi Arabia a few days ago has increased its production in September, which is likely to keep the oil prices under pressure. However, this decision could be a way, or one of the ways, to stabilize their revenues, not only the prices, by increasing their share in selling crude oils. However, the Gulf region as a whole might be okay with the price above $65 to $75 a barrel. However, also by this there will be no deficits so far. However, the breakthrough below these levels may lead the region, or OPEC in specific, to support the prices by cutting the production again, as the market is already oversupplied amid the global economic slowing down.
Well, let's see, Noor. Anyways, there is OPEC meeting planned in late November to discuss this issue. Thank you, Noor, for this insight.
Thank you for having me.
That's all for this week. Don't forget, for more business news, you can always visit Euronews.com or Euronews Business YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. Have a nice week.